everyone, to another Cosmic Cuppa with Jude. I have beautiful Elsa with me this evening, and we're going to be doing some more amazing deep dives and finding out what's going on at the moment collectively and with Elsa and her family. So Elsa, welcome. How are you? And what have you been up to?
You think you're having a quiet week, and then if I repeat myself from another interview, I'm sorry, but it was quite a big thing that happened. I went out to the stars and asked the stars and Neff to turn it up. And I was working late that night for the book, actually. And I was working late, and I woke up the next day and my left eye had exploded, like it was blood.
Well,
Yeah.
may I ask you to speak up a wee bit, please?
Yeah, sorry. There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah, so my eye had exploded. And I know that any time you see a redness in blood on your body, so especially like a blood nose or a burst ulcer in your mouth, that's a purging, a great purging. So I was like, well, you did ask for it. But it's disturbing as well because it's in your face. And the fact that it was my left eye, was like, wow, really? The bust of Neff, are you kidding me? Obviously not. So, and then the messages start, once I acknowledge, then the eye starts to clear up, and then the information comes through again, not just through myself, but through the children and whales. And so we had Richard go out fishing that day, and he's been fishing since he was a little boy, 5 or 6, out in Sydney Harbour. And he said, I had something weird happen while we were out on the boat. I went, really? What this time? And I sent Jude this footage of the whales, and he said for 20 minutes these whales were waving their tails at us. And he said, I've never seen them do this, not for this long and not this many. And usually they do it once or twice. We checked for tail language because tail has language in it, and there's no signs of aggression whatsoever. It's just pure fun. And he said it was 20 minutes of just this, and very close to the boat, not dangerous, but close enough. And even in the video, you can really hear the shudder from when their tail hits the water. And he said, in all my years of boating, I have never seen this ever. And
it's quite a rare phenomenon, I would say, Elsa. What an acknowledgement.
Well,
wow.
I sent it to you straight away because it was,
yes.
And then I kind of got a bit of a laugh in my head because it was like bottoms up. Yeah, get to work. Go book your ticket, get your passport ready. Yeah, so, well, my passport has blonde hair, so, which the kids have found really entertaining. They're like, who's that? I said, that's me. That's your mother. And they said, but your hair's so white. And I said, well, that's what I was. Yeah. So it's the old Elsa. I look at,
so we change our experiences.
Yeah. And I looked at the, then I said, guess who's coming? And I sent this passport photo because everyone always asks me, what do I look like with blonde hair? So I sent this passport photo to a couple of people, including Jude. And I got this message back going, did you see those dates? And I went, oh, here we go. And then, so then I'm getting messages from my passport numbers. Now, what's interesting is the passport number dates are coming up. It's the 22nd of October.
Double digit.
Yeah. And the other thing is that I got, it's reverse the spin. It's the date the other way around. The actual language of the numbers is, the origin of it is the flip side of it. So now I'm realizing that it's literally a reverse of the matrix. It's going back. So it's not about 1 and 1 is 2. It's the binary numbers 11100, 11100, 1111100. So it's a code. And the Egyptians knew. The Egyptians knew that we would find out about these codes now. And I just keep getting clear messages, clear messages, clear messages. And things are happening in the world, around the world, confirming this. And then I get messages from people, and then they confirm it more, and they confirm it more. And it's exciting, but we don't really have a clear path, but we know we have path. And this is the reassuring part, and this is the part that is creating lights in others, and this light is not getting less but getting more.
Yes. What I see is a path ahead of us, and the fruits of our labours to each side, and it's plucking the fruit, which is the next gift. That's just a vision I've got at the moment, moving forward. Can I ask you, did Nev have any message for you that you're able to share as to why your eye went red, and what was that connection about?
Well, it was also a visual for others to see, because I had an interview that day, and I go through, do I or don't I? Because it's funny that it's I. Do I or don't I? Now I'm laughing. I go through that because, I don't want to scare people. I don't want people to think things will happen to them. A lot of people get overwhelmed by all this because their life is already overwhelmed. To us, we just go, oh yeah, mum's got a blood eye. Can she still do this? Can she still, like, it's
How
not.
about dinner?
Yeah, back to dishes, or digging. What the interesting part of this is that we've had a few things happen around the land and roads as well. So encounters with happenings that are happening to other people at certain locations at exactly that time. And it's kind of a little bit raw to share.
Fine,
Yeah,
absolutely.
but I'm just saying, it's not just presenting for us, it's actually happening in 3D for us as well as for others. So we're not creating it, it's like it's lifting. And again, it's not only is it purging in us, but it's purging in the environment, it's purging in other beings around us, other animals presenting, and it's a positive sign. It's not a fearful sign.
The veils are lifting. Yeah.
Yeah, the veils are lifting, and the fact that the fact, like, coming into groups like these, you see the positive effects. You see how people, they look 20 years younger, and it's inspiring. And one of the messages we got through today was that it's connected to the gold atom. How the gold atom,
Yes, the
gold,
AU.
Well, how the gold atom moves and the way it collects energy, and they showed me that it's actually in us, not just myself, but every human. It's an
It's interesting
energy.
too about the gold AU.
Mm.
And I was listening to you talking to Dr. Joe about the AU and other aspects of what that meant, as in Australia,
Yeah.
and the astrological, I forget what the U word was, but there are a whole lot of synchronicities around AU.
Yeah. Well, this, I'm not sure if I brought this up the last time we spoke, but this ant energy is part of it. It's about being able to be your full self, and how your gold atoms move inside you naturally lift. It naturally lifts others, even if they don't want to lift. And after seeing this 3D model and this the way the atoms move today, I understand it, and it's a spin. So when we started Spin Beings, it's interesting because we were told not to use those words, and they said it sounds like a washing machine. I said, well, it is. That's how it feels. It feels like you just get through the wash cycle, and then they put you into the rinse cycle. Like,
And then the spin cycle.
Yeah. Well, then the really fast cycle comes, and then yeah, and you go through the soak.
Yeah.
So it's interesting though. This word spin, it comes up and it comes up and it comes up, and so it's obviously meant to be. It ties in with the Gosford glyphs all the time. How does it all work? How does this all tie in? The Gosford. Sorry.
To me, everything works in cycles and spirals.
Yeah.
My email, as you know, is Silver Spiral. And so to me, everything works in a cycle or a spiral. And often we come back to the same place, but hopefully an octave higher. And so it goes, and up and around, we're spinning.
Well, this is how the gold protons move.
Pardon?
This is how the gold protons move. Is how you just described it. It's a step. It's a step, and the greatest spin is on the outside cycle.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but then it returns to the center a lot as well. So it's very fascinating. And I'm not a scientist in the slightest, but they just I just wake up and seem to know this stuff. I'm like, and the kids go, "How do you know?" I'm like, "I don't. I honestly, I don't. Obviously, I'm just meant to know it for now. If you quiz me on it later, I probably won't remember."
This is the beauty of a unified consciousness, isn't it?
Mm.
Because it's in the moment you can know things. You don't know how you know, but you know in that moment. And I love that.
Mm.
I absolutely love it. And like you say, you might not remember it later, or you might not actually know it beforehand, but in the moment, it is a knowing that you absolutely know as a truth.
Yeah.
And I think this is where we're heading. It absolutely is.
It's so we were told what love is on Hollywood, and that gets shattered with our first loves. It really does. And they break everyone's hearts, and you break their heart. And then this unconditional love presents with your pets, usually. That's where it comes up first. But this unconditional love within you is the surrendering and the allowing, and it's letting go of the want and just allowing the need. And again, it's the surrendering, but it's also the practice of it. And it's funny because if you don't practice every day, it seems to fade a little. You get caught up in all the goop again, and it's part of. It doesn't mean that you have to even meditate. It just means that you, whatever it is that is your connection to this God energy within, or this spark, you have to practice it in your way each day. And this is what Neph and Akem would do. They were the masculine and the feminine, and they would practice with their bathing. They would practice walking. They would practice with the planting and seeds with their children. They would practice through the sun energy. And then they would go to sleep, and then they would do it again the next day. So they brought a royal energy to normality, or the day to day. And they were not, I won't talk in past tense about them because I get little spikes. So, because as I understand it, they do it through their day to day, and it alleviates the hoo-ha and the stardom energy for others and brings it back to you. Now, once you get a grip on this and start expanding it in yourself, then it starts to shoot out. And this is the butterfly effect. Now, as we've seen in the last few months, the solar flares have gotten huge, and now I know that it's us, from us. They knew that we would lift. They talked about the Quakers and the Shakers. Well, that was actually talking about humans shaking it up. The environment will reflect that in the butterfly effect, but we're actually triggering the sun. It is not called Soul R for no reason. And Soul R is us. Soul R is God within. And we have our soul here, and on our feet, and within us, again, the five. And this is the supreme being. And once you take hold of your ship, you start to now then colonize, you put into practice. And the drama around you just seems to it just fades away. It just fades away. It becomes less and less and less important. I really don't know how it works, but it does. It gets easier.
That's a really, really beautiful explanation, Elsa. I love that. The thing that I was thinking about, as well as your amazing words and wisdom, is that with Nefertiti, they're in another moment of the now, aren't they?
Yeah.
So when you're saying you're getting spikes talking about them as being in the past, they're not actually fully in they may be in our linear thinking, but in reality, they're in another present of now. Would you agree with that?
The word verb means vow. I'm positive that I'm having. The word verb, they ask me to forget the filler words. They don't call them that word. They ask me continually, forget the filler words. The filler words are the time holding words, the ones that keep us captive in our own experience. And so said, say, saying, all because it gives it past, present, future, and they just basically they come in with a sword and slice it off. They just say it's unnecessary. It is really unnecessary. So they say all the time, forget the filler words. And so it's tricky because I also still live in this world, right? We all still live here, so you still got to communicate with others. So I go, give me a break. I have to still.
No, he said, she said.
Yeah, I can't speak like the kids correct me. They go, you can't speak like that in public. Please don't speak like that. Okay. We're just going to the shop. Can you chill out a little bit? Like, okay. So I asked for ease and grace there, so that I can, not freak.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a funny thing. It's like,
I wonder if you could, sorry, something
you
more
go.
to say. I
No.
wondered if you could talk about, please, the oversoul connection and agreements we come into earthly existence with.
So the oversoul. So this is what I find fascinating with New Zealand. Pretty much everyone that I've done a session with in New Zealand has incarnated so many times. So I have a lot of respect for that, because they've carried it through these realms. So see, I don't feel that in me, but when I'm in the presence of you guys or others that have incarnated that many times, I'm talking more than 20. That's a lot of realms, right? That's a lot of DNAs going through and codes, and I always wonder why. I'm so curious, like a little kid, about it, because it's been very taxing on a lot of these people too. It's literally taken its toll on these people, and it's not for them to wear in this realm, but to tap into as a gift. It's no different than waking up from a dream and remembering your dream. And it's no different than a vision or an idea. There's no actual proof between any of these things I'm speaking about: memory, idea, vision, dream. There's nothing to prove one from the other. So some of these people who have incarnated this many times might also be how we would interpret a future version of themselves. How does that work? How does that work? I don't know, but it does. And they show me a lot that to tread carefully, step by step. There's no need to overwhelm at this point, literally. And they've shown this to me a lot. This overwhelm is overhelm. Overhelm is the top of the mast. The top of the mast is, when you look down, is the point with the circle around it, which is the two Odin crows. Comes back to the Dr. Joe C act and being a witness to yourself. They keep showing me that you don't need to overwhelm this moment. There's no need to rush this moment. So they're asking people like yourselves to enjoy it now. Enjoy. They want us to enjoy, literally be in us and enjoy, because the shift has happened, and you're okay. And okay is, I think I've said this before with you, Jude, is okay is correct speech. And we are in this phase now. And now we just need to share. And this is what's so great about 5D.
Thank you. It is an amazing platform, I have to say. I'm very privileged to be a part of it, and meet amazing people like yourself, Elsa, who have so much wisdom. There's so many ways we could go with that, actually. I wonder if at this stage you'd like to speak on miracles, appreciation, and gratefulness.
So for me, I met a lady once, who's a friend, a great friend. And she said, "Oh, miracles don't happen for me." Don't really? I said, "I've been listening to you and I think they happen to you all the time." And she was like, "Well, what do you mean? They're not like you." I was like, "Well, hang on a second. I've just heard miracles you've said." So I gave her examples of dovetailing and synchronicity is the first stage of miracles. Once you acknowledge the first stages, they step it up. And this is comes back to this last topic, the overwhelming. Because when you're up here on the top of the mast, if the seas get rocky, look how far you go like this. And this is what's happening to a lot of us now, is we're actually on pivot point. We're at the compass, but the seas are a little rocky. Not through because of us, but mass consciousness is rocky. So it rocks the environment. And then the seas will calm down, and then a storm will come and you'll get a bit more. But you're on point. That means you're on path. You're connected to the everything, right? So what will happen is the miracles show up as you need them to the second. And another great channel, Baja, talks about this. How much do you trust that? And this is great because they will test you on it. The reason they test you, it's not a game as in they're playing with you. They're testing your frequency. This is all it is. And we say game, we give it certain words, but it really isn't to annoy you, even though I do get annoyed. It's like, yeah, it's real funny. But that they're doing things to get your attention. 10 ions, 10 ions. They want your ions' attention. Once they have your ions' attention, then they can assist you to heal, recolonize, or expand, or some people have it all happening at once. And we've noticed in this, like I said, in this awakening process, some people are doing it in a few weeks. I don't know how they're doing it, but my hat's off to them, because, I've taken a long time to integrate all this, personally and quietly. But these people are doing it in a short space of time, vocally. And I'm like, wow, they're doing it though. Obviously, their avatar or their oversouls come into this ship and they're ready now.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
I think maybe because time has sped up and the time is now for so much potential, more than any other time for a very, very long time in this realm, that some people are just taking the brakes off and going for it.
So, okay, this is great because you've just said it's sped up, right? But to me, I feel like I've spoken to you years ago, Jude. So it's like, and maybe others will come forward with other information, but I see it like a piano accordion going in and out. And our kids say, "How come it's always Thursday?" I said, "I don't know," but they said, "How come it's always Thursday, but last Thursday feels like 10 years ago?" I said, "Look, it's out of my terminology here, so I don't understand it either." But the time thing is it's like one of those things that just falls away. It just isn't important.
One of the things I liked that you said was being on point,
Oh,
and
yeah.
with the circle around. So you've got the circle with the dot, which is an age-old symbol that
Yes.
represented creative spirit. But I guess it could mean many, many things, whether we are the 0 point within the all that is, or within the framework of our life in this moment, whatever. How do you see that symbol? What does that represent for you?
Um, so, so I don't think I've shared this publicly. So if I go a bit shy or I have a cough, you'll know why. So one night I was asleep and I felt a cat sit on my left breast, like on my shoulder and my boob here. I was like, who let the cats in? Like, oh, here we go. The cats are in because they're not allowed inside. Anyway, there's nothing there. I went, oh, okay. So I'll go back to sleep. Then again, wake up again. There's that again. There's no cat. And then so I turn the light on and put my head under the bed because now I think I'm going crazy. And I see Richard look over at me. He's going, oh, now what's she doing? I turn the light off, go back to sleep. It's okay. It's all right. He goes, are you sure? And he goes, who's talking to you? I said, no, I don't think anyone. And then I went back and then I go, okay, there it is again. Okay, I'm up now. And it was, I didn't realize at the time, but again, it was Neff touching. And so she led me to the memory glands, the memory mounds, the great Indians, the Bora Bora rings in Australia, the ground circles, Kokopelli, Newgrange, the Mayans, Odin's crows. Odin's crows are two crows at home. And I was like, how does that work? One crow is in home, so he's on point over helm, right? And then the other crow is above circling and looking at home. So see act, which comes back to the Dr. Joe interview. And then Newgrange. So now we have also Mefdet, who came through as a deity. She's the only deity that Neff and Akem really would look to for support. And she would bring up, they classed her as the great destructor, but really she was about rebirth. Anything that didn't serve you had to go immediately, basically. And she would power you up, the essence of you. She would assist powering up. So this is why they enjoy her energy. She's the head of a lioness or a mongoose and a female or a sea lion coming out of the water. Now, on her is the breasts, the dot. You see her symbols everywhere. She's also called, I never can say this one very good, Sekhmet or Sekhmet. Yeah.
So, Sekhmet.
Yeah. Well, so
I resonate very strongly with Sekhmet.
well, this is good news because this goes deeper. So now they've taken me with this ant energy. They've taken me back before maketh man. I love this term, maketh man. So before maketh man was the Anuls. Now the Anuls they've got lots of goop. They really do. They have Anunnaki gooped up on top as well. And, I don't pretend to know anything about all that, but I know the Anul energy. And the Anul energy is about the intelligence of the superorganism of the nest, which is the SEM, which is the stem, which is the dot with the circle around when you look at an ant's nest. And ants communicate through here, which is how I feel. I communicate with Jude and Lee a lot. And it's when you have the hairs on your arms stand up, this is Anul energy. This is before maketh man. So if you're getting these feelings, you're tapping into the colony. the stem, the nest. You're tapping into that God energy, that and the way they structure ants, structure the colony, is there is no one above the other, which is the same as the 10 Commandments. The Hopis, they're the same. The Hopis believe in Capelli. He's an ant, and you know what's beautiful about the ants is they care for their past ones as well. They'll come and get them. This is why you don't kill ants in the home, because you'll have more come. The ant energy is a super organism. It's an ecosystem of the nest. And this symbol, if this resonates in you, then you're ready for it, because this symbol means you are tapping in to the super organism. And this is what they talk about with the solar flares. This will naturally come back to this gold proton spinning. It will naturally lift everyone. You can't actually stop it. It's just big.
That's some really, really interesting concepts you have there.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the ant people that are humanoid, and they live below ground mostly, and are alive and kicking as we speak, I guess. Very, very interesting. Also leads me back to working in community and working collectively, but not within a hive mind, right? Not within a hive mind.
Well, they all have their roles, and everyone is important to the organism, and they understand this. And this comes back to before universities. So if someone was sick in the village, you just wanted to heal. They didn't say come and pay to get healed. It wasn't like that. If they didn't have the blacksmith or the person who grew that crop, or the where they got the goat milk from, they wouldn't have goat milk in the village. So you all work together as a community, and this is where we're coming back to. And this does not need a president or a prime minister or a senator. It needs this understanding. It needs kindness. It needs space. It literally needs space. You just can't crowd in on people. You have to give it space so that everyone can be the fullest version of themselves. And there's no, you should do this and you should do that. It's not like that. It's, what do I need? What do I need? What do I need? And some days you might need to do nothing. You might need rest. It might be just how the sun is that day, and you will know what you need, and then it will assist others. It's just path. And this is what the ants do. The ants, every time, and you watch ants, they're amazing. They will greet and meet each other. It's so sweet. And you can't tell an ant you can't pick that crumb up because it's bigger than you. They just pick it up. And this is where so now we're talking about where you can move objects. How were the pyramids built? Well, it's through the power of the super organism growing, and that's what we will. This is where we will tap back into slowly as our vibration can handle. But as we're vibrating more, it does send the solar flares off more, which then drops more plasma dust on us. So then we keep getting upgraded. So it can cause discomfort in us. And this is where you hear of the, one of my friends who I love is Pamela. She talks of the ascension symptoms, and she's very good. And she shares all the ascension symptoms around the world. And she shares them, and a lot of like doctors and people will tap in now because they're helping their patients
Brilliant.
understand that you don't need medication. It's okay. It's just what's happening here or what's happening there. And so now you're seeing the shift in how we've been trained, and the certificate ones are shifting over to the STEM or the SEM or the the God energy, or and they're taking this with them.
Beautiful.
And it is great because
Becoming more holistic, isn't it, in its approach,
yeah.
which is where we were before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going back to the future by the sound of it.
Well, we had Richard. This was the same day as the whales. Richard said so. We went shopping after, and we were at. I don't know if you have this, but one of the big food giants here is called Woolworths and Coles. And
Not in Christchurch anyway. I don't know
well,
about other places.
well, they're huge. They have basically wiped out all the farmers in Australia.
Wow.
And anyway, they're one of the big giants. Anyway, Richard went into. I stayed in the car and enjoyed the sun and the quiet. And Richard went in with Jerry, and he comes out with Jerry, and he's scratching his head. And I go, okay, what happened? And he goes, well, there was something really different going on. And I said, what is it? He said, they had quiet hour. And I said, what's quiet hour? And he said, they turn all the lights off except for a couple. They turn all the music off, and they turn all the devices down to a minimum,
Wow.
so that it allows frequency sensitive people to come shopping.
Oh my gosh.
I nearly cried. I was like,
Amazing.
really? And he asked the manager there, he said, what's this about? And they said this got implemented in 2017, but it's only actually just happening now. I was like, so you can go shopping. And I said, so, well, what did it feel like? And he said, I, I got everything I needed. I didn't feel rushed. I didn't overspend. And he said it was the most peaceful experience.
Wow.
And I I said, well, you know what this means, right? And he goes, really? You're going to say it means something? I said, well, it does. It means that if the big giants are doing it now, they know it's time. I mean, they already knew it was coming.
Yes.
They've just been holding it off. So now
That's
they know
brilliant.
they've
Brilliant.
got to put it into practice now, like how we have to, because otherwise they're going to completely miss out.
But like you're saying, from the giant companies as well, which would be the last place you think it would start from.
I know, right?
Brilliant.
I was like, I kept scratching my head, going, quiet hour. And he goes, oh, are you still on about that? He goes, I wish you'd be quiet about quiet hour. But
That is
it's
brilliant.
well, the other one that's happened is in the States, and this was the same day. A lot happened on this day. The same day, they bed and breakfasts. There's a new law in America where they're not allowed to. They have to have the owner stay in the home. They can't leave the home. So what that means is people from other countries just who have a lot of money can't come in and buy all the homes up and just use them for bed and breakfast. And this is what we found here where we live, is a way to ruin the villages, because pretty much that no one lives in Byron. It's just bed and breakfasts. So you have tourists that come in and out, and they don't respect the land. They don't respect the community. I mean, they're very happy that they're there and they're having a great time. So I suppose that's a good thing. But they don't understand the animals there. They're disruptive. So the community is gone. So the custodians of the land are not there, literally. because they're just bed and breakfast people, and then you have all the workers come in to take care of the properties, and we see this everywhere. This has really happened a lot here. It's also pushed all the homeowners owning properties away too, because it's too expensive.
Mm.
I mean, we're talking some properties here that when we first shifted here were, 800,000. Now they're 14 million. Like,
Wow.
it's not even the same in Bel Air in the LA. I mean, the homes here are more than Julia Roberts' home. Like, how does this work? And what this is this law that has come in for bed and breakfasts in America. There's quite a few restrictions, like you have to stay more than 5 days, or like it's quite a lot of restrictions that will you can see what it's going to do. It's going to stop them because they can't all live. The owner of the home can't live in the house in that many homes. Because we're talking about people that have bought up suburbs of country properties here. Like,
wow.
There's a lot of, and they're not wrong. They like the idea of it, but
Pushing out the average person, isn't it? It really is. It's making it impossible for a lot of people, particularly younger ones, to even start thinking about having a home of their own.
And so this law that's in America will be pushed through other areas, because we've heard that this is happening in the UK and Ireland, and it's not just here. So it's happening there, here, and so it's positive. Same day. Sorry.
Yeah, it is happening in parts of New Zealand as well. It's not a good thing. Well, as we know, Elsa, there are no major randoms in life. All of life is a cosmic dance, as I see it. There are stepping stones of our missions. How we navigate from one to the next is, however, up to us. Could you please speak about the certainty of a child's name, moment collection, expansion, and how the stepping stones are there to be played out?
So everything holds frequency. So you take the emotion off, and you take the filler words off, and then you start coming back to the symbols and the original language, and a lot. Once you do this, a lot falls away, and then you look for the path in there, and to me, it's as clear as anything. So I will be speaking with someone, and they'll tell me they'll tell me their story, and their words that they vibrate, and the way they vibrate the words tell me so many things. Sometimes they'll be speaking and I feel like I'm listening to another version of them in another realm, or I don't understand it. I just, sometimes it's not even them, it's their relatives or their DNA coding. Again.
So you're telling me I have to wear my dark glasses from here on in?
well, what was in? Okay, so I'll give you an example. So we do do you mind if I do your session just a little bit? Nothing personal. So White Rose came through very strong with me, with Jude. As the moments have gone on, White Rose I've realized, is the spin being symbol. And this was all I saw until I met another lady
called Black Rose.
Yeah. Oh, well, her name's not Black Rose, but
that's what you call her.
Yeah, and I was in a session with her, and so you have the zoom up on your screen, and my symbol was right underneath her. And as she was talking, the black part of the spiral pushed forward, like, and stamped me on the head. I was like, wow, I have never seen the black rose, or I never saw the white rose, but never saw the black rose in the symbol before. So there's nothing to be scared of with this black rose. The black rose is what we have been shown to be scared of. And you see it in many children's film, the black goo is coming, or the nothing is coming, or the end of the world is coming. It's always dark. It's really dark. But if you don't have darkness, there's nowhere for the light to start.
Exactly.
And you need to have the balance. This is the yin and the yang again. And I look, it sounds like I'm on a record repeating, but it's so important, this balance, because this balance brings you back to the spinning of the gold proton and how to make it spin. Because if there's no balance, it can't spin. It spins out of alignment in you. So all your atoms are spinning out of alignment if you don't have the balance. So you have the black rose and the white rose. So I've got Jude, who's white rose in New Zealand, in the land of the haka, the warrior one. And I've got this lady who's in the land of the braves.
Beautiful.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is very much so. So I wonder whether we've been affiliated at any times in the past. That would be interesting. The thing that's come to mind, Elsa, many years ago, I saw a movie called The Dark Crystal. And it was about these birds, and there were the good birds and the bad birds, to put it very, very basically. What they had to do was come together in a circle. And I remember, Elsa, they all started spinning, the dark and the light, and they amalgamated. So you had the both becoming the one. And as you were talking, I'm going all goosebumpy, as you were talking that stuff, I'm seeing these birds coming together. I don't know how many of you guys have seen The Dark Crystal. It was a beautiful movie. And yeah, they become the one, where they amalgamate the both within themselves, being both all it is.
So again, they call it the dark crystal. So this darkness all the time, this darkness, again, we're just reversing the spin on it all now and using it as a tool, not as a fear or a doubt. And it's very empowering, because basically you're taking all these dark thoughts, even that you've got of yourself, or dark memories of yourself, and you're going, okay, well, I don't have to relive it. It is what it is, but I can use it now as a tool, as something to help assist others or comfort others. Speaking of that, I'm just going to tell my kids to get the Dalmatian puppy, because he's black and white crying out there.
This is a fascinating topic, guys. It's talking about the dark side, which we cannot refute, and the light, and it's working on our shadow selves to become more who we truly are, amalgamating all, ultimately moving up on this cosmic spiral to higher and higher realms. We are everything that we have experienced, and we always will be. And that's what makes us who we are. And how can we help others if we've maybe not experienced something that they may be going through? So Elsa, would you like to speak any thoughts on that, please? Or would you like a little bit more chocolate?
Can you see me eating it? Okay.
Go for it. Go for it. A girl
That's,
needs chocolate.
yeah. It's funny. I was in a session with a family, and then we meet their whole family. And you asked before what was in the name, and I've told this family about their name, and it's brought the family together in a different way. It's brought all the drama in their life now with purpose, and now they embrace it. Not only do the parents embrace it, but their little girls do as well. It's amazing. This is in a 3-month. That's actually the same period I know you, Jude. They've done the same thing kind of you have. They've pulled it all together sort of thing. And they're in allowing. As crazy as everything has felt to them, they're in allowing. And this allowing and surrendering and allowing and surrendering, their children are faster at it than they are. And this is, they said, so how do we help our children? I said, no. I think it's the other way around. I think they're helping
the teachers.
Yeah, they're teaching us. Look how fast they are. And I will bring it up when we're speaking with them. They will share dreams, and I'll go bang, 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 bang. And they'll go, really? And I go, yep. Not only are their children aligning with their parents and the cosmos, they're remote viewing with us.
Wow.
Yeah. They're not only remote viewing with us, but their life is syncing up with things that are happening to us as well.
Wow.
To show us and them.
That's remarkable.
Yeah. And so I had a session with a lady, and she said, look, I've been a light worker for a decade and I'm struggling with it. I said to her, really? You've been a light worker? Do you really think that the light needs to be worked? And she laughed at me. She goes, I've never heard of it like this. I said, neither have I. I'm just saying it to you for the first time. I've never thought, because I've heard this phrase a lot. I'm a light worker. And there's no such thing, because you're a soul are. There's nothing to be worked. You just have to be the full version of you. And they're like, yeah, well, that's great for you, but come on, how are we going to make this work? You have to stop feeding the system. If you are continually feeding the old way, you're saying you're okay with it. But if you go, that just doesn't feel good for me anymore, I might just miss out on doing that. Or I might not eat that. Or I might just go hungry because I just don't want to eat that food, but thank you for offering it. Or you get caught in a conversation that's a repeat conversation, and I just don't want to talk about that. So I'm going to be quiet. And I'm okay with being quiet. I'm not, and so you're not feeding the repetitive dialect that's just been going on and on for so long. And then they will see that in you. And then they'll see the kindness in you, and they'll see the soul in you. And that will trigger in them. So it comes back to this gold proton.
Yeah.
The way it spins. And it comes back to the Anu energy. So Anu is if I haven't said it clear enough before, is Anu is ant. So it's being path. Ant is actually being path. So Anu is what they were called before maketh man. So when you tap into the stem and this God energy within us, and the core, the dot with the circle, you realize there's no God above the other. And you just, by you just feeling what feels good to you, you will lift them, whether they like it or not. And that's a really nice feeling, even if they're being, I've got really good names for them. I love this dog. He is tapping you on the shoulder. What's he going to say? Can you see this dog? Look at him.
That's Scott's dog. That dog is called Eve. Isn't she just beautiful?
Really? The dog's called Eve. Are you kidding me?
No.
Oh my God. So Eve is heaven. Wow. Wow. Sorry, that is, but she's pouring you. So what shoulder was that on?
His left, I would say. Is that left shoulder? Yeah.
You just
There's
can't
a
make me
great love between those two.
Her name's Eve. So you just asked me what's the name in the Eve. So, so you have lived and devil. You have God and dog. These word plays and reversal is no random. It's deliberate. It's part of the trickery, but it's also part of the clues. So this week we've had we had the roads to heaven and hell. So is kind of where we live. That's actually the names of the road. And the Indigenous call it the land of the two streams or the two shires. And we've just had two horses pass as well. So the two sires. Yeah, literally at all of this location.
This is two more, Elsa?
No, the first two. So, yeah. And so then we had a ghost come through this week. Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you about the ghost. So the kids have said to me, he keeps annoying us in the morning. And I said, who? The one that's been annoying Gemma. I said, who? The dark one, the shadow one. I said, well, what is it? Is it a bee? No, this one's a ghost. This one's a lost soul. I was like, okay, so you've seen him. Who else in the family's seen him? They said, well, he hasn't seen him. He's seen him, and we feel him. And it's more in the twilight hours. And the main person he's connecting to is Jerry because he feels comfortable with Jerry. And I said, Jerry said, he's creeping me out now because I see him in the window and stuff. Like, so he obviously wants our attention. I realized that this was the main road up and down the coast of Australia. I didn't realize that. So, so there's been a lot of passings on these roads here. And then I realized that we needed to do a clearing. So we did a clearing, very simple, just like a little candle. And then I asked everyone the next morning, how do they feel? I said, oh yeah, he was all fine. He's all good. He's all fine now. We asked how long he'd been here for, and he was like over 200 years. So I said to the kids, you've got to understand, if you're a trapped soul here, imagine how weird it would look, all the things you're doing. Like, to them, popping in and out, it would flip them out too, because you're like on a gym equipment or on a phone, or like, imagine how alien you guys look. And so they saw that side of it as well. And so we did this clearing, and within 6 hours of that, we had an angel and then a small angel above the house in clouds. We took a picture of it because it was so beautiful. The next morning in a session, the same angels are behind this lady.
Wow.
Right behind her, in the same shape as these ones in the cloud, right next to her.
Oh,
and I was like,
how about that? And isn't it lovely that you actually spoke to this being? Because often there's something they need to be able to say, or something they need. And in doing that, it clears the air both sides, and then they can move on.
Well, what's interesting we found with a lot of hauntings is that if you look at the land or the roads or the area, there'll be lots of mishaps happen there in
Yes.
those spots to bring attention. They're just waiting for someone to tap in. That's because they're stuck. And this is just stuck energy. And you always see people with doing Tai Chi, they're moving energy around. You see kinesiologists, you see Reiki. It's the same. We don't see any difference to that to the ghost. There's no difference. But for some reason, we've separated everything. So this is what they show me when I had the craft experience where they called it a tenon back. This is what they showed me. And they slapped like this together and then it went black. I was like, what does that mean? And it meant together, like we're all together, but it will go black. And this was where we are now, where we're in the blackness and now we can create anything that feels good.
Like from the void space.
Yeah, like the garden bed. So you look at, when you,
Yeah.
so you're ready for the new moon. So the after the full moon, you prepare the soil, and you might put fertilizer in, and you get all the soil, and it looks really dark and rich, ready for the new seed to go in. This is where we are now. We are planting the seeds of the new way, and there are absolutely no rules, nothing whatsoever.
I'm so
And
pleased about that.
well,
I can do what I like.
yeah. Well, I was speaking with Karen and how you guys are creating these communities that offer space. So we talked about space because you need blackness, space, right, to do this. And she's saying, so how can we do this? And she's already doing it. It's beautiful. She's doing it. She's doing it. You're doing it. By doing it, you're creating more space for others to come through, and but a safe space. And this is interesting because this is how we believe to bring up the children is not being their parent. And I say it's more, this is a safe garden bed for you to play in, but you can't mess up the seeds, and there's things that you have to behave like, but this is your place to grow. And through them being playful and growing has taught us not much about ourselves as well. So yeah.
That is a way to bring up children. And I wish everyone had had that type of upbringing. Oh my goodness, what an incredible world it is when everyone is acting in that way out of reverence and love.
Well, what's interesting is I tap into a few of those astrology people, and that's what the Sabian symbol is for right now. It's so the other one that's come up is Saturn, and Saturn is Sa, which is satisfy. So Sa is when you're satisfied, it's dark, it's complete. And this is why Saturn is so big. And Sa, so you're satisfied and you're happy with it. So you're satisfied, you're happy with it, so you're spinning it. Comes back to the black rose.
Ah.
And then today I in a live and I hear the astrologer say, it's Saturn returning or something. And I was like, what? It's like the end of this huge cycle. But that taps into all my dates as well that I've been given from beings. So again, so now we've got astrology, we've got the big food chains. Everyone's doing it at the same time. So this is the it's dovetailing. And then I meet Jude again.
And I actually saw a little piece from Karen that she talked about Woolworths and countdown. I may have misheard what she said about the big giants. We do have Woolworths here and we do have countdown, but I thought it was one word you were saying for an outfit. So yes, we do have those companies here.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they're even part of this. Like, we've found a lot of the big companies have just, it's almost like a bigger fish has come and eaten them, and a bigger fish, and it feels like there's only maybe 3 or 4 big fish now. And if that big fish doesn't own it, that one does, or that one. And we feel that a lot, and through others as well. Yeah, without getting political and.
Which is brilliant. Change is happening.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could talk about, please, Halo, Hollow Earth, from your perspective, and how the high dimensional beings there are assisting our collective ascension process as you see it.
Okay, so hello, hollow, holy.
All of that, yes.
Yeah, they're all the same origin.
Yeah.
So then you have the angels.
Hollywood, pardon?
Well, Hollywood, yes.
Or Hollywood.
And then you have the angels who they have the halo in a lot of mythology, and Michelangelo. So you have the glow.
Yes.
Maybe it's not who we think it is. So if your gold protons are spinning correctly and you start so maybe that's what happens to us. So are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah. To me, those that are becoming more enlightened show more in their aura.
Yeah.
And the enlightened ones have the glow. The halo is the glow of their extendedness, if I can use the word.
Yeah. So for many years, Gigi in particular, out of all the children, Jerry does do it, but she draws it in a different way. Gigi would draw the earth as hollow, and then she would draw all these realms, and then another realm and another realm, and she'd say, this is the pulse. I said, okay, now spin it. And she goes, what do you mean? I said, well, your drawing's 2D. Now spin it. And she's going, oh, so the holes go all the way through. I said, possibly. So this is just my versions that I'm getting, right? Because I'm not getting the same thing. And I said, so now take those visions that you've drawn and ones that I see in media and push it through like a wormhole now, not how your eyes been seeing it, push it like more a wormhole. And I go, it feels like hollow earth now, right? So now instead of it being on the outside, you're in the inside of it. And I was like, so which one are we on?
You're making life complicated.
I said, seriously, I don't know which one we're on, but I said, look at it in a different, look at it.
Yeah.
So they've always said, right, look at it from the right angle. And this has come up a lot in the last month as well. And right angle is right angel. So this comes back to this again, right?
Yes.
So now they're saying to me, look at it the right angle. So it's not right angel, it's right angle. So now we're talking a triangle, right? Or a piece of the pie.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what happens. They don't give it to me in language. They give it to me in symbols. Symbols are it's easier to communicate in symbols and feelings than in language, because language we all get confused with. So with the symbols, they go, it's that one. That one. Yeah, so it becomes like clearer. So this tunnel thing has Gigi drew a being for Mary Rodwell, who was from Inner Earth. This being came with huge coding, and her name meant one thing one way, and on the reverse spin another language another way. So it was a very complex being for us to comprehend. Mary spoke about this being on a few of her conferences with people like Stephen Greer and all those great people, because it's direct from them, I guess, the information. But they talk about this hollow earth, hollow, and then you think the word hello, hello. It's playful, right?
It's interesting too that there's a beautiful piece that apparently was written by Horace, and I don't know if I can remember it all. It goes something like this. I am Horus, oh world egg. I am Horus of millions of years. I am Lord and Master of the throne. Released from evil, I traverse the ages and spaces that are endless. So he talks about the world egg, and I guess that could be taken several ways as well. But that's a piece that really resonates with me well, those teachings.
So,
which again goes back to Egypt, I guess, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, Horus, Hora, Torah, which took me to, so you have Egypt, and then I think it's Islam, or took me to where the 10 Commandments are. The tree of Hora, Hooray. It's the tree of celebration, which was the 10 Commandments. And then they showed me the origin meanings, words of the 10 Commandments, not the Bible dialect that we have at the moment.
Yeah, because I actually think that the commandments we have in the modern Bible is not the best type, because it's a commandment of thou shalt not all the way through, which is not open-ended.
No,
I don't think was the original. What are your thoughts?
I'll send you our version of it, and not only is it our version of it, but the actual tree is Odin's tree. Oak, strength. Oak means tar. Tar means mummy. I mean, then it means void and plasma. So just go, really? So it just keeps coming back to the same thing. It keeps leading us back to the same thing. The 10 Commandments are a holiday is where you it's not celebration, it's where you look after the sick, the elderly, and the young. This was a holiday. We've changed holiday into being you have to wait for a holiday. To them, they practiced holiday every day. It was a holy day, spending time with loved ones, looking after each other. Another one is there's no God above the other. They're such simple things that these words present to us. But if you live by the origin words of the 10 Commandments, which we do our best to, it's a very nice way to live. It allows everyone to be who they are without judgment. It doesn't mean you have to put up with them, though, either.
Well, I think we all know that the great teachings, the great truths will always be so. But we know that I think I could say without doubt every religion we now have on earth at present has been corrupted in some form. And so it has been a manipulation. But the great truths are always just that. You cannot hide what is real. And to me, it's so remarkable that all the great truths are so simple. Love one another, treat one another as you would want to be treated yourself. It's all simplicity.
Yeah.
It really is.
And this is, I just said this once in an interview as well, is the greatest company in the world, the wealthiest one, plays by these rules in their advantage. And they asked me, who is that? And I said, well, it's the Catholic Church. This is what Richard said. They're the most. How come they're allowed to play by those rules, but we're not? So I'm saying go for it, because you are soul are. You are soul are.
Yes.
If you're here and you're breathing, you are soul are. And
I think to be here, to be who we truly are, to not harm another soul, but to do that which we wish coming from the heart is, to me, the best way anyone can live. Because in coming from the heart, it encompasses all. It's open-ended. I think the more control is put on a person, you can only control a person so much. It's like squeezing. Well, they're going to come out somewhere one way or the other if they get squeezed too hard, because it doesn't work, it doesn't fit. And so to me, it's like, get rid of a lot of the rules, but work from the heart and work collectively with others, but on your own path of being your authentic self. To me, that's the way forward. What do you think about that?
well, the so the word people, the origin meaning of it is plasma go.
Oh,
So plasma go is a comet going past Earth, being melted, and it's in. They call it the ancients call it frozen mud. And
sorry, what do they call it?
frozen mud. So
Ah,
we're going back to tar again, right? So
oh,
frozen
right.
mud. So asteroid comes past, and then the solars lift the energy because they're practicing ones. So they lift the flare of the sun, and so that melts the frozen come ET going past. And then the plasma dust falls onto Earth, similar to the movie Golden Compass and Dune. The plasma intelligence makes us more, as well as Gaia. All of us makes us more, not less. And we evolve to the next version of what our bodies can handle. And it's just like, okay, so now those ones went past, and then the next batch will come past, and there's usually quite different series coming past. With Jude, we had the fleet. So what happened after the fleet? So we had 4 encounters with the fleet. So after the fleet, we noticed everyone was kind of taken out physically. They need time to adjust to all this new intelligence coming into the body. And it caused attention in our bodies also at those spots that possibly needed attention. So, and we saw a lot of people pass on in this time as well here. So it's a lot of energy. That's why they want us to keep doing what we're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Get ready, because next year they say it's bigger, gets bigger than this year. And I thought this year was big. So
That
we're
leads
actually,
yes.
sorry. So we got told about the 3 spin cycle this year in 2015.
Wow.
And we were told about right angles on this. It's very close. We didn't understand what it meant back then, but we do now. And then, so the third spin of this year started on the 1st of October. And we have already noticed a lot of ease and grace with a lot of other people. They've noticed things feel different because it's now spinning more in line with how they're feeling.
Which is brilliant. It's so lovely to hear too. What I was going to say was earlier, we were talking about the play of light and dark, and that we could potentially be in for more of a rough ride. How do you see this playing out? And what would you propose as our best defense moving forward over this time coming up?
So I have my children saying there's dark energy following them around in the morning, but I don't understand. So I flip out. And then my neighbor says, you know, I heard of this lady and she was on 5D and she was talking with people and they were talking about ghosts. And maybe it's not what you think it is. Maybe they just want a hand and maybe it just only needs a candle. So then they try it. You don't know. Well, we just had Reka. I love saying her name, by the way, Reka. I feel like I'm connecting to some ancient one. Anyway, we had Reka. I don't know if she's still here, but we had Reka. She said, I don't know what I said to you, but it had such a huge, profound effect on not only me, but my family and many others around the world. And that's what happens is you don't realize how you just being you on your path affects people. And you might never know ever either. You might never ever know how you helped someone or communities. And sometimes you might get a hint of it, like I've told Reka. But she's probably still going, what was it that I said? And it doesn't matter because she was just being her truest self to me. She was being her honest, fullest spin to me. And I honored that and accepted it and I allowed it and I expanded on it. And this is expansion. We don't become less. Creation, like I've seen in so many holiday films, creation doesn't become less. Now you think about what's been going on the last few decades. Anything to do with creation or being creative, boy, have they stomped on it. From astrology to health to everything, anything where there's any form of creative type soul being, that's the area they've targeted. Why? Because they knew this was coming. They knew the Maya. They know all this. They knew this time was coming.
And as souls, a lot of us that have incarnated here are very much creative beings. And we're made as creator gods, basically, each and every one of us in our own unique way. And we've also had a lot of artists. We've had a lot of designers. We've had a lot of people that are so artistic that have been born into this world that show a lot within their work that is non-visual. I shouldn't say non-visual, non-verbal. It's like you're saying, symbols often speak louder than the words, because words can be limiting. It's like you get the thought before the word, or the feeling, then the thought, and then you've got to put the language to it. So it's very interesting, isn't it, that creativity has been stifled, but it keeps popping up and people keep doing it. And with this openness that's about to happen and has started to happen, who knows where that's going to lead us? It's going to lead us out of this quagmire and into the light.
Well,
Did
and
that word trigger, did it?
yeah, I love that word. I feel like I should be stirring a big pot. So this is where you guys come in, and well, when it's only just a year ago that I was told that I don't know how you're going to be accepted. I'm just like, well, I'm not doing this to be accepted, really. I'm not doing this. I'm doing this because it feels good to me. So what feels good to you? It doesn't mean that everyone has to have their show or anything like this. It just, you might be just in where you live is helping your community. And I
Yes.
say this to people, it just might be your neighbors, and you'll start to feel into it. And we notice it from people that live in high rises. We notice it's not, there's not one rule. And that's what makes this so scary, I guess, to people, because there is no rule and there's no control over it. So it's chaos. Now, chaos has been given a bad rap as well. Confusion, because you're letting go of the rules. So all these walls that you had around you, now you're just floating in space, literally, and it makes you feel uncomfortable. It does, because I could go any direction in a spin, and then you become overwhelmed. And that's, if I hear people say I'm overwhelmed, I go, oh, that's so cute. I'm so happy for you. And they're like, no, 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 this is not a good thing. I say, oh yeah, this is a great spot to be in. This is exactly, this is showing me that not only are you overwhelmed, I'm overwhelmed, they're overwhelmed, we're all overwhelmed. And this is us going, this is a letting go feeling. It's a start. You need a start point. You have to have a start point for an idea.
The dot within the circle of all creation.
Yep. Which is the memory gland. So it comes back to mummy again, which is tar. And get what? Well, the word tar, you know how I found out about the word tar? From the word, I don't know what you call them, your roads, in what they're made of. Because I'd be talking to about people and say, well, look at the stones and rocks where you're made of. And I'd say, well, if you live in a city, you'd have lots of roads. In Australia, they're called bitumen.
Yes.
I was like, that's a weird word. Bitumen.
Yes.
I went, that is such a weird word. And then I kept seeing on Facebook or something this ad for bitumen pathways. I'm going, I don't want a bitumen pathway. Why do they keep sending me this bitumen? So I looked into what bitumen means. It means mummy, tar again.
Yes. Yes.
I'm so, which means the dot and the circle. Going, how can everything be related to Egypt? We're going to go
The original word for bitumen was macadamization, because it was set up by a gentleman, a Scotsman called Macadam. And it was called macadamization, was the original word for bitumen.
Wow.
Here's a wee bit of history.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know how I got back to, I never know so they take me back to the origin word, but then sometimes the whole journey is unnecessary. So I miss but yeah, I was just like, well, the word tar and nest refers back to tit, which is also neff. And I go, what? Okay. So it's a lot bigger than, I just keep going, okay, it's much bigger than us, and that's okay. We'll just tap into it. It's easier to tap into it than try and think about it.
Yes, I would say so, because you've got something coming at all angles, really.
Yeah,
to that central point.
all angles. I mean, we got it even in the water when we're looking down. So, this is what I wanted to say with the 10 Commandments. When I send this symbol, this is what was on the Gosford glyphs. They kept saying, on the hieroglyphs there, they had an image, Egyptologist speak of this, and he said that was of a great shipwreck. And I was going, it's not a shipwreck, it's flipping the ship. So we actually let go of our roots. And if you have a look at the symbol of the 10 Commandments, Odin's tree, I think the Holy Grail, or the womb, or a placenta, there's actually no roots. They flip it. And they kept saying, flip the ship, flip the ship. And so we're flipping the realms. So now we've seen the 3D realm. Now we're flipping and understanding the underrealm, which is, I guess, the underworld. Depends on which side of the earth you're on, maybe. But so we're flipping it. So we're seeing now both sides, and we've let go of our roots. There was
So we are adrift, so to speak.
Yeah, because you're the stem of this tree.
Mm.
And so then it comes back to the figure 8, infinity, the symbol, the Horus. Yeah, and keeps coming back to everyone. Back to the same.
I have one more question for you, my love. And then if you're happy, can we open it up to questions?
Yeah, Richard just brought me more chocolate, so I'm really happy.
Are you all right for that?
Yeah, I love being with you guys.
Well, we love having you too. It seems we're not too far away from openly accepted conscious contact with non-human beings, as the media is pushing this narrative to the public. We know these beings have been here for a very long time, going back in history, both physical and non-physical. The general public are being woken up to this realization of aliens, but also it is to perhaps create a false alien invasion scenario. And maybe we could discuss the term alien, because if you're from another country, you could be considered an alien. To me, that is a nothing, a misnomer. For those of us who know these realities, what is the best way, in your opinion, to prepare for open contact?
The best way is think of yourself like a car battery. Oh my gosh, chocolate's so good.
Go for it.
So you need to have oil in you, and you need to have salt, and you need to have water.
What about chocolate?
Have magnesium. This is what I tell Richard when he goes shopping.
Good excuse.
We need more magnesium. It's like, nice try.
Love it.
Yeah. We learned about all the minerals before all this. We learned of paradise paddocks, and her name's Pat Colby. She's an amazing lady. I don't know if she's still here alive, but she wrote books, and she had goat farms, and she had lots of. She was a farming lady, and she realized that the animals were getting really sick, symptoms in her goats and her friends. So she was like a villager. So she would see what was happening with all the different villages around her, and she realized that she should test the soil. So she learned of all the different minerals. So she would feed the minerals direct to her animals, especially the herders, the hoofers. So then they would poop it out. So then it regenerates the paddocks.
Perfect.
And so, yeah. So we learn of all the minerals. So our kids, when they make up the horse food in the morning and the afternoon at the moment, they will put a big scoop of chaff, which is just chopped up like grass or oats and stuff. And then they'll put copper, which is blue, sulfur, magnesium, sunflower seeds, oil, salt. And then put in calcium, not from animal, but from plant, and dolomite, and apple cider vinegar, and molasses. And this is what they feed, and they know they're only allowed to put. They know the blue one is quite potent, copper, and they only put a little sprinkle in that because they know that can be very overpowering. But you need each one. Sulfur as well. You need sulfur's the yellow one. You need all these things to move it around in their body. So we've taken that approach and applied it to us, and it works.
Wow.
It works for us, works for the chickens, it works for the cats and the dogs. So we don't buy food that's made up. We make our food up. So we know what's in it. The sulfur stops the taste for ticks and fleas. They don't like the taste. Giving your animals magnesium, all these things help support. So if they get a snake bite or a venomous bite of some sort, their body can handle the venom to a certain point. If you are depleted in these things and then you get a tick bite, then you get Lyme's disease, which I have had.
Wow.
Yep. It's not pretty. We've lost many pets from ticks as well, so we understand. So we learn about paradise paddocks and balancing the land. So now we understand that we need to do that to our vessels as well. So there's been other players in the last decade now with intervention, because clouds have never looked like this before. Lightning has never gone horizontal in all my years except the last decade. I've never seen clouds look like crops, and we always said they will be the game changer for many. But it is what it is for us to see. We understand. So we've had to top up on top of that as well. So at the moment, with the influx of this mucus that's going on, we cannot eat starch. We know that if we eat starch or feed it to the animals, it triggers the mucus. And which is really tough for me because I love potatoes. I can eat sweet potatoes, but we can't eat normal potatoes. So I don't know why. You can eat pumpkin, but not potato. I've tested it in so many different ways and I just can't. It's frustrating because potato was my favorite, food. So, but I know right now with what's going on and the way my body's working and the way we've been upgraded or whatever is going on for everyone here on the Gaia is that stay away from starch. Now, this information was brought to me through a black swan. So,
oh wow,
and
thank you.
Yeah. So it's so when you say how can we prepare for contact, so you keep adjusting and sharing information with others around the world so that you understand you don't need to take that medication. You're okay. Like, okay, their last 2 days, when I'm walking, my left knee feels like it's going to pop out. Now, it's not just me, it's the chickens, it's Jeannie, who's little, it's Richard. Like, we've all had this feeling either in our knee, our foot, or hip on the left side. So then, we speak with a few other people around the world, and then now all of a sudden you have a flood of people sharing the same symptoms.
Wow.
So this turns off the program in them because they don't need to go and spend money to feed the system. They go, well, it's not because I'm 50 or 60. because that kid's, only 8. And how old's that chicken? Like, how come the chicken's got a limp on the left leg? And so now these symptoms are global or in a community. And so then now they're prepared. They know how to supplement it. Now you're ready for something.
Brilliant.
Now you are ready for something.
Brilliant.
Because you're taking, and again, so you're not only sharing, so you're giving and you're receiving. So now you become a receptor. Are you getting this?
Say that again. Becoming what?
A receptor.
A receptor. Yes,
Yeah.
I am.
You become
Yes.
an antenna.
Gotcha.
So you can hear the highs and the lows, and you vibrate at a certain frequency because you're in alignment. And then you meet another aligned being, and then you meet another aligned being and another aligned being. Now, beings can be a human, a cat, a dog, a grasshopper, a fly, a fish. It can be all the space from you to your computer screen.
Bless
So
you.
when you say, will we have an encounter, sometimes the beings are actually already in you in a good way as well. And
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Elsa, we're going to run out of time if we don't open up for questions now. So before we do that, for those watching on our YouTube channel, how do people find out where you are and what you offer?
if I'm not buying chocolate,
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
You know what's funny is I had to change the brand of chocolate. So one chocolate we were eating for years, and then just this year something started happening and it was causing ulcers in our mouths. And I realized that possibly they've maybe changed the ingredients, because you always forget about things like this.
Yeah.
And so we couldn't eat that chocolate anymore. So even chocolates had to have shifts in our.
Yeah. Some of it's not so good. Some of it's great.
Well, everything changes. So
yeah.
How do they find us? We are on swinbeings.com. We do one-on-one sessions who we've had with so many amazing people. And we always say that you're not just meeting us, you're meeting the whole family and all the beings around. A lot of people explain to us that they actually, once they make contact with us, they have it start before the session. So they'll have dreams, or where we come to them in their dreams and things like this, which is, we always find that really interesting. So we always go, so are they having a before experience or after experience? Because the experiences don't really care about time.
No.
They just want you to be aligned.
Yes.
And I love that. I love that because it just proves everything we've kind of been saying. We have had people's pets connect with us.
Beautiful.
I had this beautiful lady. She had her pet bird in the session. Her pet bird told me every answer before she asked the question. And it became a game. I had another lady who I think's in the group. She's taught me a whole new way of healing formulas. So each person I meet, their energy, so like Jude's energy was the white rose, and her energy was of such love, it pulled through the fleet craft. So did we plan that? No. Is that a normal session? Well, I don't know what a normal session is. It just, whatever happens on the session. And yeah, it's quite unique.
Well, so are you, my love. And what we might do now is, we haven't got a lot of time left, but if any of you would like to ask a question, please pop your hand up. Hello, Scott. How are you?
Hi, Jude. Good. Hey, Elsa. I've really enjoyed watching you over these past 3 or 4 times that you've done this, and I've always felt like I've come away better from having listened to you. I really wanted to compliment you on the light you bring. It just shines through your eyes. It's actually quite amazing just to observe it. And I really love the positive spin you put on life, because it's so easy to be captivated by the negativity of the changes. There's a balance between the two, and it's important, I think, to look past the negative things that are happening and see them as opportunities. And I really get that from you. So I wanted to tell you how much we appreciate that. I did want to ask you if you've ever read the Law of One books, or if you're familiar with those. Does that ring a bell for you?
No, but hearing you say the law of one, I feel like I'm there with you. Like, I just feel like you're already, I don't know, it just makes me want to cry because I feel happy from it. You know, I really feel that. And
Yeah,
the fact that you've just even said it out loud for all of us to hear, because I feel like crying. I do feel like crying. A song that I used to play over and over and over as a child was Sting, Fragile. And this song soothed me through, you know, really confusing times as a child. And I would play this song over and over. And I looked up the origin meaning of fragile, and it's the royal law. It's not a weakness.
yeah, that's beautiful.
Fragile is fern, what you see in forests, rainforests, and fern is fragile but strong. It's what helps rainforest develop, and it's the royal law. And so you saying the law of one means it's royal in all of us, and royal comes back to gold again. And so when you say it, I sound like I'm wafting. I'm not. I'm saying it's like you're mirroring back what you feel from me. You're mirroring it back to me. So thank you.
Yeah, it's I think you'd love it because of your Egyptian heritage. The Law of One was channeled in the 80s, and it's Ra from Egypt, and he is presenting again in the last days the teachings he gave to the Egyptians, which he calls the Law of One. He talks about all sorts of things, including the pyramids, ascension. Really, he's giving a lot of information on the path of spiritual evolution, and it's a beautiful. It's considered the quintessential channeled material. It came through in the early 1980s for this group called LL Research, and you can get it for free if you look up their website. It's a 5 volume book series where they have very, very powerful questions, and then Ra answers. Ra sets it up that he will only answer what's asked, and that's how they are able to get all sorts of information from UFOs to just anything almost that you can think about. There's something in there on it, so it's a beautiful series, but it very connects with what you're saying. It resonates very well with it, and it's I always thought, I bet she's I hope that she's seen it, because you personify that Egyptian energy so beautifully, and I think it would resonate so well with you. So I would really encourage you to look it up. It's well worth it.
Thank you. I will.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Scott. Beautifully said. Rose.
Hi. Thank you for your wonderful, wonderful talk, Elsa. It was fascinating. I have two questions. One is, can you say more about, you said the date in the passport and to switch it. Can you explain that a bit more?
Yeah, it's actually personally on my passport. So someone told someone who I love, they seem to carry a lot of codes, and they'll just say a couple of words to me and it just sends me on this rabbit hole. And she said, "Oh, have you seen the codes on the dates on your passport?" And I looked at them, and then all of a sudden the meanings came through. And on the 22nd of October, which is coming up, I got a big shift of the numbers. So the numbers on my passport are the reverse symbols of this date coming up on the 22nd of October.
What does it mean?
I feel that, well, it's in the second week of this third spin, so I feel like it's gonna be fun. I feel like it's people like yourselves that just gonna go, we're doing this, we're doing it, and I feel from the group you're all lifting really fast because you're all sharing. You must feel it. From the first time I've met all of you and Jude, I just feel like
And my second question is, you talked about gold AU. Can you explain that a bit more? What does it mean? What it is?
well, AU is God with a right angel in it, and it gets really deep. AU is the set sun, not the rising sun, so it's more the father. So the father is the deeper frequency, whereas the rising sun is the calling frequency. The IU is in August, and we were shown that the word August was a trigger word. August was it will start in AU, and then we'll go to US, and then we'll filter out. And I felt like that's what happened in August. I again, they're symbols, so they don't really make sense in 3D. But this is how they show us, and this is, I only learned about gold proton spinning this morning. Until this morning I didn't know. So sometimes you have to sit with the information, just sit quietly or sit in the sun, just let it keep manifesting in you. I'll get more back on the gold though. There's so many different layers to it. It's definitely intriguing.
It's strange because owl, is something you call out when you're hurt.
That's very true, Rose. It's also the chemical symbol for gold as well, but that's on a very basic level. It's fascinating, all of the compilations like pancakes on top of one another,
Well,
have so many meanings that filter through.
well, gold, so the difference between pyrite and gold is you crack it with a hammer. Well, because we got geologists, so our girls want to know if it's pyrite or gold. So when you hit pyrite, it shatters. When you hit gold, gold's malleable. Gold doesn't. So when you hit it with a hammer, it doesn't do any. It doesn't crack.
Ah,
Mm.
interesting. I must remember that when I next see a piece lying around.
Yeah, when you see your gold lying around, Jude. Look at that. Jude just happens to have a hammer in her handbag.
The
Give
hammer
me
of
that.
Thor.
Yeah, give me that watch. I'm going to test it.
Long as it's not the gold ions I'm banging. Thank you, Rose.
Thank you.
Lou, how are you, Lou?
Hi, Jude. Thanks, and Elsa. Thank you very much for such a great, beautiful presentation. I got to say that the more I listen to you, the more I resonate with all your words. But it's more than that. It's like a deep energy communication. I cannot give you details, but it's like your words are opening up in my mind when I listen to them. And I love the way that you explain these words as this English has been manipulated. And you just come up with these explanations that sometimes are simple, but they do make sense. One example that had triggered me is the belly of Eve, believe. And that triggered me. And that's why I'm always careful. And I try to go deep down into the word. So thank you so much for that, really. I have a question, and that is, would you be able perhaps to put together in writing the meaning of so many words, the way that you interpret them? Because I guess that English will have to be rewritten, and that's a good starting point for that. And then the other one is, that's one question. And the other one that is just a thought. You know so much, and you've gone through so many experiences in your life with your family, and you've learned and put together a school of living. Would you ever consider sharing that, like having people over and helping or teaching people how to make their own food, how to learn, how to go one step forward into this 3D living that is not really where perhaps we belong to? We're going into another direction. So that will be my second sort of thought and question for you.
So, did anyone see all those lights on Lou's face in the first? So, what side was that on? Because this might help my question. So, on which side? Can you just touch your face and tell me what side of the face?
The lights were here, and that is my right side. And that is because of the sun that comes through the window and is blinding my eyes.
No. The light could have hit you anywhere. It chose
So,
Okay, here we go. Here we're having, okay. Do you want to see it in action? Ready? All right. So the light has touched Lou on the right. So it's informing me in action. So we're in masculine. And if you saw, there was 3, then 2, then 1, and then they were on his shoulder. So they're bringing my attention to this part of the part of Lou. So we're in action on voice. So it's important to share it out. So it's not on the feminine spirit side, it's in the masculine act side. So it needs to be acted out. Yeah, did he ask me to write a dictionary?
Or maybe a book. I think a book
that's
would be-
just like, so I've got to go and do how many dishes? And then, by the way, Lou said, can you just sneak in a dictionary there? I think what I have done, Lou, I have pages and pages of PDFs that I've done, and I actually haven't loaded them to the site just because I'm still mum and I'm still on the farm. So I do as many as I can. At the moment, for some reason, it just seems to be these Zooms that have needed the attention. But I have all this waiting ready to go. We have had many publishers ask to publish our works. So we're just now doing this one with the one that's just about to happen, coming out. We'll see how this one goes, and then we'll go from there. Because again, you hear lots of channelers saying it will literally blow your mind, and you know, I'm a mum, and I care about others, so I don't want to put people off or afraid or overwhelm them too much. We just step by step. So we go back to Eve. We lie flat on the ground, and then we wake up and we take a step from there. And then you take another step. And I learnt to do this when I broke my back. Can you see that light on him now? See how they've calmed down, the lights? Oh no, here they go again. Yeah, yeah, so I've learned to calm down, take step by step, step by step. And the word that have come to me in the last few weeks was be little. And at first when I heard these words, I did not like them. I was offended. And now I hear the words be little, and I think of that ant carrying that crumb. And he's looking after him and going, what do you mean I can't carry the big crumb? I believe I can. And so I'm happy, and I see the greatness in being little, because being little with me, being little with Lou, being little with Lee, being little with Jude, you create this, the eco, the SEM, the greatness. And who knows, we might not even have to write a dictionary. We might just be downloading it to each other. Maybe that's why I haven't given it out yet, all the info. Could be. Who knows? There's no rules, right?
Right.
I hope
Thank
I
you, Lou.
answered it. I answered it in an Elsa way. The kids would have said,
Yes.
you didn't answer the question, Mum. Like, I answered it in an Elsa way.
Okay, I guess we will be then up on the list, on the first places to get that publication.
So
Yeah.
Thanks so
we'll take,
much.
Thank you,
thank
Lou.
you very much, Lou.
Thank
We'll
you.
take one more question, and then we're going to have to wrap it up, sadly, until our next Cosmic Cuppa. Karen, how are you?
Good, thank you, Mother. Thanks, Elsa. Again, another fabulous talk. Really, really interesting. I don't have a question. I just want to say that it's just going on from what you're saying to Lou, that you are downloading. Well, we are downloading. I can say I'm downloading throughout this talk tonight. I've got warm fuzzies all happening in my tummy right now as you're saying these words. They're really resonating, and I feel there's downloading, there's changes, something is energetically is happening right now. It's quite overwhelming, actually. And you've said a few things tonight that have really sort of triggered or made me remember things from our session that we had. So things like you mentioned the golden compass, or that was something that came out of mine. Directions, right angles and things. And the whales, you said that you can call in the whales. When Mum may have told you this already, I'm not sure, but when we went to Rarotonga, I thought I'll give that a go. I didn't know whether I could do that or not. I thought, well, let's just try. And I did, and it worked. And that was from that connection that we'd all had with the whales. So, yeah, amazing. So sorry, it's not a question, but just things are happening, things are resonating, and I'm so thankful and so grateful for everything that you have to say to us. Thank you.
So Karen, who I love, I have to share, because Karen and Jude are mother and daughter, but they've been here many times before, and I know this. Like, I just know it. And so Karen's just answered Lou, who, look at where those lights are on Lou now. They're just amazing. So Karen's answered Lou's question because she believed. So she believed that she could call the whales in. And I just did an interview with a lady today, and it's part of this series, where she believed and she would call the whales in. She did it from land. I did it on a boat. I thought you had to be on a boat. You don't have to be on a boat. She did it from land, and she had spectators too. So, yeah, this is, so they know, they know that you believe. So you've tapped in. So they've tapped in. They've been tapping in all the time. They're probably looking at us going, when are they going to tap in? They're going, when is Karen going to talk to us? We've been waiting all this time. So they're tapping in. They're tapping in. And this is no different than the haunting. The relief you feel from these beings who seem scary, but they don't know how they appear to us. They just appear. It's happening. And so Karen answered Lou's question. So thank you. Believe.
Thank you, Karen, my lovely daughter. Gosh, I've just seen Karen grow in leaps and bounds. Just absolutely amazing to see her shining so brightly more and more. It's just fabulous, fabulous. Elsa, I would like to thank you so much for your beautiful pearls of wisdom, your authentic self shining through, your vulnerability, which is your strength, and for sharing with our beautiful 5D and beyond family. So for now, we're going to say good night. Lee, I would like to thank you so much again for this amazing opportunity to be with everyone and share a cosmic cuppa with Jude on 5D and beyond. And so to our YouTubers, if you love what we're doing, please like and subscribe. Our last podcast, Elsa, we had 173 views to date, could even be more now. So we've started out very small, but we are growing. We're shining the light. And on 5D and beyond, we have a lot of events happening. So for anyone's interested, please tune in. So good night, everyone. God bless, and we'll catch up soon.
Thanks, Elsa.
Good night, Judy. Thanks very much. Thanks, Elsa.
Thanks, Jude. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
So
Elsa.
much,
Thanks,
Elsa.
Jude.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.